Welcome to Someone Stole My Laundry, the podcast where I find interesting stories on the internet and I bring them to you. Today we are going to be talking about an interesting story coming out of the United States where there are TikTokers that are fleeing to an app called Rednote. That's right. Americans are joining the Chinese social media app en masse to protest an imminent TikTok ban. American users have flocked to Chinese social media platform Rednote in defiance of American security warnings. Chinese and American users have engaged in surprisingly friendly conversations about each other's lives. Now, there has been an influx of American users on Rednote, and there is legacy media saying that this could burden the platform. And legacy media has also put out into the ether that Chinese users are alleging that they don't want Americans to talk about politics on the platform because allegedly they can't actually talk about politics on their platform. So that has not been fact checked. I haven't seen any other independent media talking about that, but it does appear that all of the users from TikTok who have actually transferred over to the new platform Rednote seem to be happy. So dubbed Rednote by TikTokers, which had not previously profiled American users, was the most downloaded app on Apple's US App Store as of Tuesday. For Riojas, using the app is more than an act of rebellion. She told Rest of the World, she said, "I just want something that could replace TikTok." And also and she further said that this was sort of like an act against the government censoring speech in the United States. Little Red Book is one of the most popular social media networks in China. Its feed offers an infinite scroll of Instagram-like posts powered by TikTok-style customized recommendations. Redbook, or Rednote, users, most of whom are young women, commonly use the app to exchange tips on travel, shopping, and other lifestyle topics. As of Tuesday morning, there were at least 58,000 posts related to TikTok refugee on the app search engine. A chat room named TikTok Refugees Home live streamed for hours on Monday, attracting over 727,300 participants. I'll say that again, 727,300 participants. In contrast to ByteDance, which created a separate app, TikTok, for users outside of China, Rednote focuses primarily on Chinese users and adheres to Beijing's policies. Now, there is another app that's in China, and that is its sister app, and that's Douyin, which is not available for download in the US. Now, although Rednote is widely used by overseas people such as Chinese citizens, the platform has made limited efforts to attract a broader international base. Even Rednote's logo is designed with the characters from China. It offers no in-app translation for user posts or comments, only suggests that maybe you could possibly translate that outside of the app. Has been some level of changes. So maybe within the last, 24 hours, Rednote seeing that there were a lot of Americans that were flocking to TikTok, and what it decided to do was make the app user-friendly for Americans. And so the Mandarin-speaking Canadian author who signed up on Rednote in 2020 to learn about Chinese consumer trends, he said, "I think Rednote is the Chinese app closest to American internet culture," Roger Hang stated. Quote, "If a bunch of Americans showed up on WeChat, they'd be totally lost," end quote, he said, referring to China's ubiquitous instant messaging app. But the sudden increase in American users likely poses new challenges for Rednote as the platform tries to balance global business expansion with pressure to enforce Chinese censorship laws. Now, there is an allegation coming from the United States of America that Rednote is actually censoring content, but we haven't heard any users on the apps to confirm that they can't speak about specific issues. Ultimately, it's up to the users to determine if they want to be on Rednote and if they want to be subjected to such policies. If they think that China is that interested in our data, so this is coming from a user, so quote, "If they think that China," a user states that if the United States thinks that China is interested in American data, that user said that they'd rather personally, and this user's personal statements, I'd give it to them directly. So, end quote. And that same user further stated that, quote, that she doesn't think that China cares about the kind of dances that she's doing or the things that she's posting, the cooking that she's doing. She says that she just thinks that it's a way for the United States government to control the American people. For now, Americans like Riojas are still enjoying exploring Rednote. Some who are using the app's powerful algorithm to find other similarly situated persons who share their niche hobbies in birding, crochet, music theater, and much, much more. Other users are actually taking the opportunity to push back on hypocrisy within the United States. What do you think? Do you think that the Americans that are moving to the app Rednote, do you think that they are misinformed about the app? Do you think that there is some precautions that they should consider while being on the app? Do you think that this app is going to be heavily monitored, surveilled, and censored, that the American content is going to be censored? Do you think that this is just paranoia coming from the United States government, and that the United States government is seeking to surveil and monitor and censor American content, and this is really a refuge for American social media influencers and TikTok users? Do you think that Rednote is a new home for TikTok users? Do you think that this is where they find solace and sanctuary? These are all questions that are very interesting, and I would like to know. And there you have it. This is Kiana with Someone Stole My Laundry, and I try to bring a new episode every Saturday. And if you have something that you find interesting that you want me to talk about, please be sure to let me know. I will look it over and I will take it under advisement, and we'll see you next time.